Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some r/matter butthole. And if you love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack straight on with today's first story. Now today's first story does come with an update of course. And it's from Gemstone J, who says, am I the arsehole for yelling at my best friend, 18 female, when she threw away my, 18 female, anxiety medication? I know we can pretty much say no to this straight away, but let's read first to see what happens. I, 18 female, and my lifelong best friend, Emily, 18 female, share a dorm at college. For backstory, I started having really bad panic attacks when I was 10 after my parents died. My brother, Dylan, 32 male, took me to a psychiatrist and I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and put on Prozac. I've taken it ever since and I have occasional panic attacks, but it's been a lifesaver. Emily has stood by me through all of it, but she never liked the medication. She was raised extremely Christian, as opposed to my agnostic upbringing, and thinks I just need to repent and ask God's forgiveness. Now, I'm pretty good at just ignoring that since I trust my therapist and doctor. However, since we've gotten to college, she's been looking at me weird and making snide remarks every morning when I take my medication. She has asked me not to take it in front of her, and I try to do it when she's in the bathroom, but she insists that she can hear the pills rattling. It has caused tension, but I never thought she would do what she did. Thursday afternoon, I was feeling restless and I went into the city with my girlfriend, Eva, 18 female. Emily thinks we're just friends. We had a great time, but Emily kept texting and calling, even when I insisted everything was okay. I'm usually okay with her being so overprotective because of an incident when I was 14, but I just wanted to be with Eva, so I told her I'd call if anything happened and turned off my phone. A couple hours later, I get back to the dorm and Emily screamed at me for having my phone turned off and threatened to call my brother and sister-in-law. I apologized because I didn't want her to call and worry them. She accused me of not having morals anymore and I just didn't say anything and went to bed. Friday morning, I was getting ready and found that all my pills were missing. I asked her about it and she said, "You don't need drugs, you need to pray," and said that she had flushed them. I lost my temper and told her I need my medication to function properly and that she had no right to do that. I had to go all day without it and it was a complete disaster. I had to step out of a chemistry lab because I felt so bad. It was about time to replace the prescription anyway, so I did that and I'm hiding it in my backpack. However, Emily is demanding an apology for how I yelled at her and her boyfriend agrees with her completely. Eva, Dylan, sister-in-law and our other friends think I'm completely right and should be angrier. I don't know, we've been friends for so long. I feel like if I don't apologize, it'll all be over and the rest of freshman year will be so awkward. I know she'll hold a grudge for a while. I shouldn't have shut off my phone, but she knew where I was. She has my Snap Map location and that I wasn't alone. I just want it all to blow over. This whole Saturday has been tense and weird. Edit, by the way, for everyone who thinks I'm not going to report this, it's the middle of the night and I'm staying at a friend's apartment. I'm going to report it ASAP, but I'm going to take at least tonight to be around people who aren't like that. Otherwise, thank you for your kind words. Another edit, I know this isn't the norm for Christianity. Most Christians I know would never do what she did. Now, the level of control this person has over you is absolute madness to me that, you're having to hide a relationship you have because of her, because you're worried about what she might say. And, the very start when you couldn't allow your pills to rattle it in a bottle because if she hears them, you're worried about that. That's no way to live your life. And there's no way you could be the arsehole in this situation. If anything, you're underreacting. And like you said at the very last edit there, that hopefully you are going to report this and get out of that situation because, as I said, there's no way to live like this. But Santos Dude says, not the arsehole, she isn't your friend. She is a judgmental, holier-than-thou control freak and she has shown her true colours. You've been given plenty of red flags. Get the hell away from her if you want to become stable and happier. Tabbycat 1874 says, not the arsehole. Boundaries, get some, enforce them. Throw this whole friend out and start over. To which Tabbycat replies to that saying, P.S. report her ass. Pretty sure stealing and destroying another student's prescribed medication is a bannable offense. What's she going to do next? Do not let this go. PPS, I am on antipsychotic medicines and psychosis runs in my family. If someone destroyed my medication, I'll be at risk of hallucinations and extreme suicidal behavior. I have to have my medications to live, literally. You need to look at this person as if they tried to kill you because it's that serious. Asleep at the Wheel says, you need to go to the housing office and demand a single room. What your friend did is unforgivable. If you hadn't been able to refill your prescription, the side effects could have been disastrous to your health. I don't care how much this person has been there for you in the past, they are pushy, overbearing, and overall just awful. Does your brother live nearby? Perhaps you can live with him for a while. Your friend is toxic as fuck, honey, and you need to get out of there as soon as you can. And Mr. Handman says, not the arsehole, her Christian privilege reeks and what she did was terrible. She owes you a massive apology. Honestly, if I was you, I'd be looking to switch dorms as that's not someone I'd want in my life personally. Could you ever trust her again if she doesn't realise how wrong her actions were? And one more from Azure Atmosphere who says, not the arsehole, she is not your friend. She jeopardised your health to get back at you for a perceived slight. This is serious, way more serious than a potentially awkward freshman year. Those friends are saying you should be angrier, are 100% in the right. Taking someone's medication away from them is a crime. And with that being said, now we're going to move on to the update to see what that says. So, update. So after my last post, I requested a room change and reported her to the campus police. Emily was put on academic probation, and I moved to a new room. My new roommate could not care less and is clean, so it's a win. Over Christmas break, I came out to my brother and sister-in-law, who were supportive, and cut contact with Emily. My brother and sister-in-law agreed to do the same. She yelled at me, but I was too dumb with her to care, and besides a few stares, she hasn't said a word. I've learned a lot about myself in these past few months. I found out that the friends I've had for a few months are already more supportive than she was. Eva and I even told them about our relationship and they were actually happy, which surprised me. I'm not sure why. Honestly, I feel like I stepped out of a fog. I didn't know I could be happy or feel okay. I didn't realise how much it hurt to try and live my life and not get preached at. Thank you to all the people who left sweet words and sent messages. I probably would have just let everything go back to normal otherwise, and nobody wants that. And I think that's a pretty awesome update. It would be nice to find out what Emily was thinking at this particular moment when, everything happened and OP moved rooms, what was going through their head. Obviously, they still think that they were right, which is absolute madness. Imagine if someone else moves into that room with Emily. Are they going to be controlled by her then? Worrying stuff. But now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? I think it was always going to be a not the arsehole simply from the title, but interesting story nonetheless. Now let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to another story. I saw this next title and I thought I've got to get me a piece of that, and it's from Throwaway who says, am I the arsehole for telling my boyfriend he's not the fucking superhero that he thinks he is? My 17, boyfriend 17, and I have been together for almost a year and he is great. The only thing is, he has some hero complex. He needs to save everyone from all their troubles, and if someone gets hurt or fails something, etc., it's his fault. An example, I failed a chemistry test and he didn't talk to me for a week because he didn't want to distract me. He sent me all his notes and made a whole study schedule before ghosting me though. His twin got hurt in a small car accident and he thinks it's because he distracted her. She has a cast, but he acts as if she can't do anything without him. He doesn't let anyone help either. His babysitter dropped glass and he freaked. It didn't break, but he panicked and didn't let anyone in the kitchen for ages. He also kept checking her feet for glass even though cut skin is pretty obvious and she was fine. He criticizes his mum's parenting. We were walking around the park and he looked anxious the entire time. He said he was keeping an eye out just in case someone needed help. Etc. These seem like small things, but it gets overwhelming. He's constantly anxious, scared or jumpy, and it's exhausting. And he doesn't want me to do certain things because I might get hurt. I hurt my ankle skating once some time back and he freaked out when I told him we should go skating again. Anyways, this happened yesterday. His dad told him he needed money because he lost his girlfriend's jewelry and he needed to replace it. My boyfriend, no hesitation, stole over $800 from his mum. When I asked him why, he told me that his dad needed it urgently and that I'd pay his mum back later. He has no job. I don't know where he thinks he's getting that money from. I lost it. I told him he's not the fucking superhero that he thinks he is, especially since he decided to straight up steal from his mother, who has so much trust in him. He got upset and told me to stop mocking him. I told him he needed to face reality and realize that he can't save everyone and that he's becoming exhausting. I also mentioned again that I couldn't believe he stole from his mum so carelessly. He called me irritating and said I wouldn't get it, and he left to go give his dad the money. I immediately told his mum, who freaked as well, and now he's in trouble. He basically called me an arsehole, but he hasn't responded to any of my texts since. Now, I don't think I'm the arsehole because, well, he needed the reality check and everyone's thinking what I'm thinking. I just voiced those thoughts. But my boyfriend's heart is generally in a good place, and he's told me that he can't help it. He thinks I'm the arsehole, obviously since he told me to leave him alone for fuck's sake. My brother also thinks I shouldn't involve myself since it isn't my problem. Okay, and I was pretty harsh. Am I the arsehole? You know, if this situation didn't involve the stealing of the $800 in this, I would have thought maybe it may have been an everyone sucks here, simply because, although needed, it was a pretty brutal way to say something like that. But like you said in this one, the fact that he so carelessly stole $800 from his mum says a lot in this situation, and I do wonder if there's more to it with his own mental state. I'm not going to try and diagnose or anything like that, but it just feels like it's not normal behavior, is it? So it just feels like there could be more to this. And again, not excusing the behavior, but that's just the way it feels to me at this particular moment. And I think your brother is wrong in this. He says you shouldn't have involved yourself because it isn't your problem, but yes, it is your problem. You're his boyfriend. And his behavior is affecting your life too. You see it all the time. So yeah, you're not going to be the asshole to me in this situation. Whilst one of the examples, one about the broken glass and him wanting to clean it up and stuff like that, also like kind of fair enough maybe. But the whole chemistry test one, that he wouldn't talk to you for a week because he didn't want to distract you, gave all your notes and wrote you a schedule. Whilst it seems quite sweet in some ways, that would drive me nuts, I think, personally. Just like, dude, I don't need saving. Focus on yourself. Let me deal with my own life. But Stock Comprehensive 96 says, not the arsehole, and sweetie, a kid who steals from his mother is not great. He is a thief no matter how he tries to justify it. No, his heart is not in a good place. Yes, you should have told his mother. $800 is a hell of a lot of money, and I dare say his mum needed it for something more important than dad's girlfriend's lost jewelry. He is controlling, egocentric, paranoid, and a thief. It is good he's not answering your texts. You do not owe him any apology, but you do owe yourself a decent, caring boyfriend. Hint, he is not the one. Dodo says, yikes, this was tough, but then he stole, and $800 is a lot. Not the arsehole. Maybe make him your ex. If he'll steal from his mum, he'll steal from you. Trying to have a nap says, not the arsehole. There is a reason that white knighting has a negative connotation. Sometimes we just don't need to be saved. Stealing the $800 is so problematic, and he clearly does not comprehend the gravity of his actions. He wants to be a hero and prove he is a man, but he doesn't want to have the emotional or intellectual maturity to grasp how he hurt his mother, and what an awful position losing $800 could put someone in. It could impact his mother, himself, and his sister. Heroes sacrifice for others. He makes others sacrifice, and without their consent, to make himself the good guy. And Cascabella says, not the arsehole, I suspect your boyfriend really does have some kind of anxiety disorder, but he is not handling it well, and his actions are making him an arsehole right now. He needs help, and I hope his mum can help him navigate that. His dad sounds freaking awful. Zero Fluffs Given says, not the arsehole, your boyfriend needs to talk to someone. It isn't healthy, and his paranoia is concerning. You can't be an arsehole if you're attempting to bring him back to reality. Kudos to you for trying to make him see things clearly. And Graflex says, not the arsehole. I'm not sure your boyfriend is really wearing his heart on his sleeve. When you do nice things for other people, you do it because it helps the other people and make them feel better. Your boyfriend just seems a little overbearing and protective, constantly checking feet for glass when it didn't even break, pretending like someone with a single cast can't do anything for themselves. That's not normal. And now we're going to move on to the update to see what happens next. So, updates. Hi, so I'm going to start this off with a thanks for reading my original post and commenting on it. I knew in the back of my head that I should probably ended it with him, but reading your comments really gave me the push to really understand why. I don't know if that makes sense, lol. Before I start though, his mum managed to get to my ex before he gave his dad the money. The money is safe and my ex-boyfriend's phone was taken from him because his dad kept sending him rude messages. He wasn't ignoring me on purpose. Here's what happened. His twin sister came over sometime after I made the post and she told me quite a bit about why my ex-boyfriend is the way he is. I'm not going to say much as it's not my story to tell, but what I will say is that I remember someone commenting and saying parentification, and you were mostly right. She then told me that he's not allowed his phone, but he did say he was sorry. I was also informed that he's getting help and he's not in the right mindset for a relationship. I agreed. I know a lot of people were convinced that he isn't a good person and he's this or that, and I admit that I wrote that post out of frustration, but he isn't a bad person. The world isn't black and white. I'm sorry I can't give you more context, but there's only so much I can say online. I also hear he'll be out of school for a week or two because he had a breakdown and is pretty unwell, but I'm not going to avoid him or act as if I don't know him once he does come back. Sure, we didn't end things greatly, but he's been my friend for years, and unless he doesn't want me around, I'm not doing that. I also want to thank everyone for telling me it isn't on me to fix him. That I'm only 17 and that's not my responsibility. Sometimes I feel pretty guilty, not gonna lie, because it kind of feels like I abandoned him when things got tough. But it's like, what exactly can I do? He has his mum and sisters right now, and I think that's all he can handle. Because of you know what, I've cancelled all my plans and I'm currently watching that new Disney film with my brothers, and honestly it's the most relaxed I've been for ages now. It's nice knowing I don't have this huge responsibility on my back. I don't use Reddit often, so yeah, thank you so much for being so nice to me. Look, to me you can't feel guilty about this breakup because it wasn't on you in the end, and I think you've handled this very, very well from what I can see, that, you know, you're not totally shunned him away. As when he does come back, you're not going to turn away from him, you're still going to try to be involved with him if that's what he wants, and I think that's a wonderful thing on your part. And I'm very glad to hear that he's getting some sort of help that he obviously clearly needs right now. And for them to admit, you know, he's not in the right mindset for a relationship right now, which you agree with as well. So I think it's a good ending to me anyway. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today and getting involved in today's stories. As I always say, it means the absolute world, the difference you do make by commenting, subscribing, liking, all that sort of good stuff, joining me on Twitter. Some of you have been keeping up with my, I've been posting like a little daily doodle at the minute. I've been practicing drawing. I'm not very good at it, but I do try my best, and I've been posting it on Twitter as well, and I've been getting some nice feedback, which has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your love, time, and support. And if you do want to see some of them doodles, come join me on Twitter on @MarkNarrations and join me there, and I'll be sure to share those with you. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time, and I'll see you soon. Much love.